Good morning, I'm Penny Hu. Welcome to Halom News. Airedale Air Conditioning was on fire yesterday, and the cause of the fire is still being investigated. Around 100 firefighters were sent to the Rotan area, and the road was closed after the fire.
Investigators surveyed the damage the day after an intense blaze. Nearly half of this factory in Rawdon has been left in ruins. At its height, about 100 firefighters tackled the blaze at Airedale Air Conditioning. Hundreds of workers were on site at the time. Thankfully, they were all safely evacuated. But concerns about 60 gas cylinders led to road closures and disruption.
The contents of an acetylene cylinder are quite volatile, particularly when put under heat. It's something that we have to monitor and control very carefully, which is why we had to close the road last night, which caused significant disruption to the commuting traffic. It couldn't have happened at a much worse time, really. We had to monitor those constantly, and actually we're still doing that as we speak now to ensure that they're safe.
Today, many workers returned to the site to collect belongings, survey the damage and consider their future. Managers say they hope to get things up and running as soon as possible. But in the meantime, employees have been told not to turn up for work next week. Shirley Henry, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Chinese students continue to search in Sheffield. It could be interesting to know how these Chinese students affect the business sector in the city, especially Chinese restaurants. As one of the oldest Chinese restaurants in Sheffield, Xinhua Restaurant has witnessed the changes of local business in the city, and the owner has more to say. The increasing number of Chinese students coming to Sheffield have translated into better business opportunity for local business, especially Chinese restaurants. Based on the figures released by HERSA First Statistic for the year 2014-2015, there were almost 90,000 Chinese students came to the UK for their studies, which was the top non-EU sending country of the years. Being one of the oldest Chinese restaurants in Sheffield, Xinhua Restaurant has witnessed the development of Chinese business in the city.
We seem to be a lot busier than before, and the Chinese supermarket very busy. So I opened the same Chinese supermarket as well, and then we get busier. Summer holiday or during Christmas period, they go away, we get quiet. After they come back, and then we get busier. So before, we only take the Chinese customer and English customer. We don't feel that big difference. Now the economy is not very good. The English customer less to go to Chinese restaurant now. So luckily, the Chinese students fill the gap. So I think Chinese students is quite important of our business now.
When we are curious about why these Chinese students still prefer Chinese food instead of Western food, even though they are far away from their home, let these Chinese students tell you why.
Having Chinese food, it feels like I am living in my hometown instead of living in Sheffield.
I think Chinese food is much more delicious than UK food.
I'm studying far away from my home, so when I miss my home, I will go to the restaurant for the meal.
As the population of Chinese students continue to surge, it could be interesting to witness the changes it brings to this country in terms of both economic and cultural perspective for the next decade. Was organized by various trade unions in front of a McDonald's in Sheffield earlier. McDonald's was being targeted because of its 0 hours contract for the staff, and the demonstrations calling for a ban on 0 hours contract and also calling for a £10 an hour national minimum wage. However, the business leader said the contract allowed more flexibility. Lolo's Vintage Fair returns to Sheffield in March for a big spring special. It visits cities all over the UK, and the shoppers are granted entry to the fair for the whole day with a little entry fees. It has won the Best Vintage Fair in Britain for the past 3 years, with more than 40 tractors, a kitchen tea party, and also the old school beauty salon. There are stores selling vintage fashions, homewares and accessories. For this time in Sheffield, the response from the public has summed up the event as a successful one. Shoefest is a week-long celebration of the talent and diversity of students and staff from Sheffield Hallam University. The cultural celebrations activities include Thai dancing, Brazilian carnival, Portuguese language class, Chinese cultural events, and also Kurdish celebrations. Dance, music, and snacks from Kurdistan lighten out the event, and the cultures of Kurdistan have successfully reached out to the students and the staff through these events.
Let people know about our culture and about our history and our tradition, and because it's full of many events and many programs, so this will make people know about Kurdish people and what is Kurdistan, because there are lots of people they don't know about and they don't know where is it. So it's very important actually.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice day. Goodbye.